Hello, Girl Scouts. My name is Olata Kumagoma, and I'm a program specialist here at the Girl Scouts of Missouri Heartland. Welcome to today's video. Hope you have your paintbrushes ready because today we are going to be painting. First things first, make sure you hit the subscribe button below and make sure you give this video a big thumbs up, and also make sure you turn on notifications bell so you never miss any of our videos. So, like I mentioned earlier, we are going to be painting today. So, this is what we're going to be painting. So, unfortunately, I could not find the original artist, but shout out to them for this amazing piece we're going to be recreating today because it is great. So I'm going to be using acrylic paint today, but you can use oil paint, water paint, whatever you want to use. And looking at the image, I can see about 9 different colors in total. There's the rainbow-ish pattern going on in the background. We have the golden yellow sun. We have the green grass shape and the green leaves. And of course, the super dark, nearly black trunk and stem of that tree. So grab your paints, your brushes, your canvas, paper, whatever you're painting on, and I'm going to be showing you exactly how to paint this. Okay. So for my rainbow, I will be using indigo, blue, purple, this orangish, pinkish, pink, orange, and even lighter orange, and of course, bright sunny yellow. And then, of course, I will also be using a golden yellow for the sun, a grassy green for the trees and the grass, and the dark brown like I mentioned, and of course, some white for shading. For brushes, you are going to need a wide brush, a couple of flat brushes, a couple of mop brushes, a detail brush, and a shader brush. So on whatever you're going to be painting on, first thing I want to do is actually just mark out the different sections of our rainbow. So if you recall, we were using 6 different colors for our rainbow. So we need them to all have even spaces on the canvas. So I'm just going to use a pencil, a pen, marker, whatever, just very lightly, just make a tiny little dot. Divide up your sections throughout. And once we get to the end here where the sun and the lighter orange meet, I'm going to switch it up a little because that section is a little different. So for that last section with the lighter orange, we're actually going to mark it above and below the circle. So this is our sun. This is where it's going to be. But above here, we're still going to have a tiny little bit of that lighter orange. And I'm just going to adjust my markings just so I have enough space for all my colors. And that is enough space. So I have divided it up evenly. This is for the indigo. This is for the blue, for the purple, for the pink, for the darker orange, for the lighter orange, the sun, and once again, that lighter orange. I'm going to be using the biggest mop brush, and it's already wet, but you can dip it in water, whatever you want. And I'm just gonna start with the indigo. I'm gonna do 2 coats of each color. Want it to have nice coverage, and you're basically going to be going in circular motions with all your colors. So I'm going to drag it all the way up till that little line that I made. And that line will not be visible. If you're working with acrylic like I am, it dries pretty quickly. So you would want to work just as fast as the acrylic. Okay, first coat done. Now, if you have multiple large mop brushes, even better, but I'm just using the one today. If you have multiple, you can switch it out for each color, but I will just be washing mine in between each color because I have one to work with. Okay, so dip it in, rinse it off. And I have a little bit of paper towel here just to dry it off. And it's okay if it's not perfectly clean. Even helps with blending. Next color. Remember, circular motions. And to create that ombre, I'll show you all in a second how to do that. Just go over the two colors like that, and boom, they're blended. Now for this painting specifically, don't worry too much about it looking exactly like the picture, because at the end of the day, painting is meant to be fun, and if you start worrying too much about being Picasso or anything like that, it might take away some of the fun. So mine is looking a little streaky, but I sort of like that. But if you don't, just go over your what you've painted so far with more coats, and it'll be a lot less streaky. Okay. Now I'm going to go in with the purple. And I'm not really worrying too much about having my brush being perfectly clean in between each color, because like I said earlier, it helps a little. So just like before, when we switch colors, to blend them out, just go over the lines, the space in between the colors, and the paint will blend itself. You might want to blend it. You might want to save your ombre for last, because then you're going to have a lot of the previous color in there. Make sure you're going all the way to the top. Okay. Now we're done with that purple. And I chose kind of a bluish purple, just to be like the picture. We're going in with our coral. Really is more of what it is, less pink, more coral. Now I'm ready to blend the two colors. Just go over it with your brush. And it will blend itself. Next, our orange. This one's a smaller section, just because we're getting close to the sun. Feel free to paint with me at the exact same time. Turn on your favorite song, play your favorite album, whatever it is, and just use this video to wind down, because painting or art in general can be very therapeutic. Okay, time to blend the two sides. Just go over it. And yeah. Okay, and now for this lighter orange, we're going to need to be careful with how we place it. So we're going to make this one the most defined circle, leaving just enough space for our sun in the middle. Okay, we're going to do both sides. Up here is square. This is where you get to kind of choose the shape of your circle. It doesn't have to be a perfect circle, but that is where my sun is going to be. It has taken shape now, and there is basically no going back. Okay. This time I actually want to rinse off my brush. Be a bit more direct with it. And we're going to dip into the yellow and finally do the sun. And just like every other color we've done, same thing, blend out the edges with the next color so you have that nice gradient. And that is the background all done. So we're going to give this a few seconds, or not a few seconds, some time to dry, and now get back to you all. So I am back. I have a new clean paper towel, and I'm just going to go ahead and move on to the grass now. So for that, I'm going to be going in with my grassy green. This is the color Kelly green. So I'm going to be using a smaller mop brush, so you can see, and it's already wet. I'm going to dip in. I'm just going to make some hill shapes here. Make them as large as you want, as small as you want, whatever you want to do with your grassy hills. Okay, now I'm going to start with an outline, and then I'm going to fill it all in. I'm going to go in with 2 coats. So now I'm filling it in. I'm going to give this a few seconds to dry, and then I'll come back in with a second coat. So I'm back. My grass is slightly drier. I'm just gonna go in with a second coat. Just to make it more opaque. And that is that. Rinse my brush off. I'm gonna set that aside. And whilst I wait for that to dry, I'm going to go in with a round brush. This is a number 10. And I'm going to dip it in to, first I'm going to start with white. So we're going to add the little strokes on each layer. I'm going to start with this one, okay? And this one is going to be the white. So we're just going to make little circular strokes. One in the center for good luck. But that is the only layer that's going to have a color lighter than it. For every other layer, I'm going to go in with the color that is slightly darker. For this lighter orange, I'm going to go in with the darker orange. So each layer gets the color from before it. For some nice contrast. Okay, the orange gets the pink. So, and all I'm doing here is just making little circular shaped strokes, really. It's okay if the layers bleed into one another a little. You might notice I'm not even cleaning my brush after. Pink gets the purple. This just adds a little something to painting. Okay, awesome. The purple gets the blue. You can really do lots of layers, or lots of strokes, or a few. And finally, for the lighter blue, or not finally, for the lighter blue, I'm going to use the darker blue. And I'm actually going to use the darker blue for the lighter blue as well. And that is that done. So I'm going to give this all just a few minutes to dry, and then I will be back again. Okay, I'm back again, and now I'm using my detail brush, the number 1. I'm going to dip it in my brown, my dark brown. And I'm going to figure out where I want to place my tree. So I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to start at the bottom. I'm going to put it there. Start with the bottom of the tree. I'm going to start with a line just going across the bottom. Then I'm going to create two seed looking shapes. I'm going to just drag that line up. Now I'm making my my tree stem. Okay, and this is where you determine how tall you want your tree to be. So I don't want mine to be super tall, so I'm going to end it there, and I'm going to start making my my tree branches. So just dip it in some brown, and I'm just doing the outline of the tree first. Stroke, create a stroke. For the other side, I'm going to have my tree coming down a tiny little bit. Okay, and just place your branches wherever you want. Okay. And then from there, add even more branches onto those ones. Add as many as you want, as few as you want. You want a really scanty looking tree, do that. You want a super thick tree, do that. I'm gonna put mine just in the middle, so it's not super full, but it's not super not full. Okay. From here, I'm just going to connect the branches to the stem. And now with a large brush, I'm going to be using this small, super tiny mop brush. I'm going to dip into that brown. I'm just going to fill in my tree. And I want this to be opaque, so I'm going to be doing 2 coats. Now the bottom of my tree is not quite dry, and I don't want those 2 colors to mix. So I'm going to just fill in the top, and then once the bottom dries, I'll come back and fill that in too. So I'm going to put this round brush away, and I'm going to take back that tiny little detail brush, dip it in the brown again, and I'm going to make that swing. Now, I'm actually going to change the side of my swing. I'm going to put my swing on my left side. Okay, so it's just 2 lines, 2 straight lines, and then a U at the bottom. It doesn't have to be a perfect line by any means. And boom. Now I'm going to take my shader brush again. I'm going to dip it in that green. I'm going to add my leaves to my tree now. Okay, and to do that, you're just going to go all over the branch and make little circles, little green circles. These represent your leaves. Leaves or flowers. And how I'm doing this, I'm just putting down the shader brush and just spinning in a circle. And it makes the leaves for me. So I'm going to use on all the ends of all the branches, and then I'm going to go in and fill in wherever I think needs a little leaf. Okay, I filled in the ends of all my branches, so I'm just going to go in and add some finishing touches to the actual branches all around it where I think it needs something. I think I need a few right here. Now you can choose to add as many leaves as you want. I'm not gonna add too many. Just gonna add one more right there. And that is the top of the tree done. Okay. So it appears that it's a little bit more dry, so I'm gonna go back in, finish. Filling it in. Finish the bottom of my tree. And now the tree is done. So now the final step in our painting, the final step is to add in the shading of the grassy green. And with that, I'm just going to take some white, the tiniest little bit. Okay. And then I'm just going to add it to the top of all my heels. Okay. A little bit more right. Just to make it look a little bit less one-dimensional. So we're just making the top of those hills a little bit lighter. If it helps, move backwards and just kind of, or take a step back, and take a look at your painting. How does it look? Okay. And I am about done. And voila, we are done. How does your painting look? Let me know in the comments below. Painting is so much fun, and it's one of those things that shouldn't be taken too seriously at all, or it won't be any fun. So with your new painting, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to hang it up? Or are you going to make another one and give to someone as a gift? Feel free to do whatever you want with it. And anyways, if you haven't already, subscribe, hit the like button, turn on notification bell, and I hope you all enjoy painting with me today. And until next time, be strong, be courageous, and act with character.